Welcome to Allan Reports TV. I'm your host, Allan Labucan from allanberryreports.com. Today we have a new installment of our In the News show. This is a program where we talk about resource companies that have very good projects, and we talk about some of the recent news that they've had out and sort of what stands out to us in that news. On today's show, we have two companies to talk about. One is involved with uranium, and the other is a silver-gold focused company. As always, before we start talking about the companies in the news, we always open with an opening commentary. We're going to be doing that again on today's show. We're going to talk about some of the reasons that we think resource stocks are primed for very good performance. Before getting started, we always start out with our thank you messages to those that are important in us being able to bring the show to you. We use YouTube.com as our primary website to produce and broadcast these shows. They've got a great website for anybody that's interested in doing online shows. We highly recommend them. Also, if you're watching the show on our website at allanberryreports.com, you'll notice to the left and right of me that we have banners. Those banner sponsors are really important in us being able to bring these shows to you. If you want to do some homework on those companies, you just click on their banners and it's directly linked to the company's websites. And on their websites, they have plenty of information about the projects they're involved with, the people that they're involved with, the news that they've had out. Really great resources for you to do your homework on those companies, and we invite you to check them out. Also, and most importantly to you, the viewers, you give us an audience to talk to about commodities, resource stocks, the stock markets, and other subjects and or topics. And we really appreciate you tuning in to watch the shows. So thank you very much for tuning in. All right. So on today's commentary, we're going to start. What we're looking at right now is the resource stocks we feel are very primed to significantly outperform commodities, even though we believe that commodity prices in several of the key commodities that we follow, such as gold, copper, silver, uranium, diamonds, platinum, and palladium, we think that the prices of those commodities are going higher throughout the remainder of the year, but we just think that resource stocks are primed to outperform those bullish moves. Some of the key reasons that we think that that's going to happen is for the last few months, with the strong moves in many commodities and then some profit taking and volatility since then, during that period, the resource stocks have really been lagging the strong moves in the commodity prices. And so, that's one of the key reasons that we see that they're sort of primed to play some catch up, if you will. And then oftentimes when that momentum gets underway, it can carry forward quite nicely. And we think that that's what's going to happen with resource stocks for the second half of 2011. Another key reason that we are focused on resource stocks over the long term is that oftentimes it's the best way to buy commodities at bargain prices. When the commodities are still in the ground, oftentimes they're valued much less than, and it makes sense, but it's also relative. If an ounce of gold, we use gold for example, costs a certain amount to get out of the ground. So if you cut that price out of the value of what you have in the ground, there's still an underlying value of what that should be, excluding the costs of getting it out of the ground and those sort of issues. And that is what is not trading at reasonable valuations. And so oftentimes, as we said many times in the past, you can buy an ounce of gold relative to an ounce of gold above ground much cheaper, even taking into considerations the cost of getting that ounce of gold out of the ground. And so we see this happening with several commodities, And, those are two key reasons that one's a long-term reason. Oftentimes you can buy commodities for bargain price when they're still in the ground. The second one is a more of a short-term situation where we think they've got some catching up to do. We think that the most important thing to do is to focus on high-quality projects. What we consider high-quality projects in our universe is ones that have made discoveries or are advancing discoveries or are in the process of developing or starting to produce in a mining operation. And, some of the other key guidelines we look at are we look for projects that are in mining-friendly jurisdictions, and when we find them in the right kind of countries, we then want to know that it's in a well-known geological region. There's an old saying in the mining business that the best place to look for a new mine is where an old mine is, and some of the reasons are that where you find one, there's often more, and so that's why we focus. Those are some of the things that we consider high quality. A good strategy going forward as we go forward is we think that we are in long-term bull market for several commodities, whenever you're in a long-term bull market, if the fundamentals haven't changed to the negative and they stay fueling what caused the bull move, buying on the dips and then selling into the rallies is a really great way to build up your positions and also to take some profits along the way. And we think it's the key way going forward for investors to outperform the commodity prices and the markets in general. And so that's one key strategy issue that we think is really important to focus on. All right, so that's a wrap up on our opening commentary. We're now going to move into talking about a couple companies. The first company we're going to talk about today is Fission Energy Corp. On the disclosure, we are shareholders of the company. Our past coverage includes they are a featured company in the Allan Reports email newsletter. We started coverage of them on April the 6th, 2008, which was our 17th edition. We've also had them on several of our past shows. The first time we had them on was September the 30th, 2010. If you'd like to find the past reports, just look above me on the website and you'll see a reports section. In there we have all of our past reports, including that 17th edition, and you can either read it online or print it off or download it in a Word file so you can read it at your leisure. And also in the shows section above me on the website, in there we have a directory of all the past shows, so you can find that September 30th edition, as well as any other times that we talked about Fission or any of the other companies that we follow or have talked about on the shows. Their website is fission-energy.com. That's FISSION-ENERGY.com. We've talked about them several times on our past shows, as I mentioned earlier. The most recent time was on April the 5th, 2011. And since then, they've had a couple news releases out that we wanted to talk about today. Excuse me. I'm just going to pull up their website now. And as I said, that's at fission-energy.com. We're looking for two press releases, and because they're fairly recent, they're on the front page of the company's website. The first one we're going to pull up is the April 19th press release. In that, the headline is Fission Energy acquires an additional 10% limited partnership interest in the limited partnership exploring the Waterbury Lake property. They go on that they announced that they've exercised their back-in option to acquire an additional 10% interest in the limited partnership interest in the Waterbury Lake Uranium Limited Partnership, exploring the Waterbury Lake property pursuant to the limited partnership agreement. Then they've got some details. As a result, they now have a 60% interest in the Waterbury Lake project. Then they give you some details about the background of the deal, and you can find that in that press release. The key thing is that they've upped their interest to now having a 60% interest in the Waterbury Lake project. And so then on April the 27th, they had another press release out. The headline from that one is Fission Winter Drill Program successfully expands the J Zone to 370 meters. 5 mineralized discoveries now targeted within the Discovery Bay corridor. They go on that Fission and their partner, Korea Waterbury Uranium Limited Partnership, announced completion of their Waterbury Lake 2011 winter program, which resulted in the successful expansion of the J-Zone uranium discovery to an east-west strike length of 370 meters, expanding the strike length by more than 3 times during drilling that began in January. A newly discovered basement mineralization was identified in several drill holes in the western part of the J-Zone below the overlapping unconformity mineralization. The J-Zone remains open laterally in all directions. They then give you some details about the 5 areas of uranium mineralization have now been identified at Waterbury Lake within the Discovery Bay corridor over a distance approximately 1.5 kilometers, trending west from the Fission Hathor property boundary. From east to west, the zones are J East, J Zone, PKB, Talisker, and the new discovery hole made by hole WAT 11-153A in the Discovery Bay corridor west of the J Zone. Then they give you some details about about the exploration. They give you some. What they've done so far is the preliminary radiometric surveys. They still have to do the lab results, and so we're awaiting those results. Oftentimes, those preliminary are good indicators. They're not, you got to wait for the lab results, but they can give you a pretty good indication of what's upcoming, and they're getting some very good numbers out of that. And then they broke it down into the various different zones. They also give you a lot of details about the work that they've done and what this all means in the sort of exploration of that project. So that's the key information we wanted to talk about from the press release. As always, whenever we finish up talking about a company, after we talk about their results or their news, we then give an outline of the reasons we like the company and some of the key reasons that we like Fission and been following them for over almost 3 years now, is because they are, one, focused on uranium. We're very bullish on uranium going forward. We think that it's a critically important source of baseload energy that will only grow in the future. And then if you look at the supply and demand, demand is growing rapidly, supply is not. There's a big gap between supply and demand that will only grow in the future. Currently, that gap is being filled by decommissioning nuclear weapons. That's a finite source that doesn't have a lot of life left in it. And when that happens, that could cause very bullish moves in uranium. And we think that now is a good time to sort of prepare for what we see as really big moves in uranium in the coming years. And so when looking at uranium projects, one thing that we always focus on is that they're in uranium mining friendly jurisdictions. One of the most important sources of uranium in the world is Saskatchewan. That is where Fission key projects are. In fact, they're in an area that's is emerging as a very exciting area, is because there's been a significant discovery by another company we talk about and have talked about in recent shows, a company called Hathor. Hathor has made an important discovery just on the other side of the claim boundary that they share with Fission Energy, the claim block they share, not the uranium that they found. But It does look like there's some association between those two discoveries, and now Fission, who isn't quite as advanced with their projects, is really catching up quite nicely and making some really good, getting some really good results with their drilling. And so, those are some of the key reasons that we like Fission. And as always, we always recommend our viewers to do their homework. And a great place to start that is on the company's website that I mentioned earlier, fission-energy.com, and you'll find plenty of information in there about their recent work and the recent news. And so that's a wrap on our chat regarding Fission. The second company we're going to talk about today is U.S. Gold Corp. On the disclosure, we're not shareholders of the company. Past coverage, they are a featured company in the Allan Berry Reports email newsletter. We started coverage of them in there on September the 28th, 2008, which was our 19th edition. We've also spoken about them several times on past shows. The first time was on June the 23rd, 2010. If you'd like to find those past reports, just look above me on the website and you'll see a report section. In the report section, all the past reports are in there, and you can find, including that 19th edition, you can either read it online or download it in a Word file to read at your leisure. Also above me on the website is our show section. In the show section, we have a directory of all of our past shows, including that June 23rd, 2010 show, plus all the other times we've talked about U.S. gold, and and there's a link to go watch those shows. Their website is usgold.com, nice and easy one there. It's usgold.com. As I said, we've talked about them several times on past shows. The most recent time was on March the 31st, 2011. And since then, they've had a couple press releases out that we wanted to talk about. I'm on their website now at usgold.com, and they have a news section. In their news section, I think they actually have it on the front. The two ones we're looking for, it's on the front page of their website. We'll start with the April 26th, 2011 press release. The headline from that is U.S. Gold encouraging drill results continue from El Gallo and surrounding discoveries. They go on that U.S. Gold is pleased to provide an exploration update on the El Gallo project and two nearby discoveries, Palmerito and Haciendita, all located in the Sinaloa State, Mexico. A total of 15 drills are now operating at the project, with $30 million budgeted for exploration in Mexico during 2011-2012. Drill assay highlights, one of the holes that was doing infill drilling at El Gallo had a 149 grams of silver over 7.2 meters. And then they had an exploration drilling 300 meters southeast of El Gallo that returned 131.2 grams per ton silver over 8.1 meters, including 484 grams per ton silver over 1 meter. At Palmerito, the mineralization is down dip extension of the El Gallo deposit and opens up the possibility of additional resources at depth. Then one of the holes from Palmerito drilling had 184 grams per ton silver, 0.3 grams per ton gold over 25.9 meters. So a nice healthy intersection there of really promising grades. One of the highlights from the Haciendita drilling was 1.1 grams per ton gold, 30.3 grams per ton silver over 28.3 meters. So another nice intersection there of promising grades of gold and silver. Then they give you more details, including tables with the various different drill holes from those zones. And they talk about the new discovery, which is Haciendita. That is, they refer to as showing early potential, and definitely is. and they give you some details about why they think that is a significant. And so you can find that on the press on the company's website in that press release from April the 26th, 2011. Then on May the 17th, 2011, they had another press release out. On that one, the headline is U.S. gold exploration continues to deliver growth at El Gallo and surrounding areas. They mentioned that they're pleased to provide exploration update on the El Gallo project and the two nearby discoveries, Palmarito and Las Muertos. Hope I got that close to right. Located in the Sinaloa state, Mexico. And then as they mentioned in the previous drill news, they had 15 drills that are operating, and 3 more are scheduled to arrive in the next 2 weeks. So they're really rolling up their sleeves and working hard at El Gallo. Highlights, again, they're very similar to in the past press release. One hole at El Gallo had 191.4 grams per ton silver over 17 meters in their eastern limits of the proposed pit. Infill drilling, one of the holes had 71 grams of silver over 17 meters. At Palmarito drilling, they had a 208 grams per ton silver over 9.3 meters. Another hole that is filling in the gaps in their resource had 140 grams per ton silver and 0.4 grams per ton gold over 14 meters. Then at Las Muertos, one of the holes had 86.1 grams per ton silver over 21.7 meters. And then they give you some more details about the El Gallo drilling, and tables with the various different drill holes results. You can find that all in the May 17th, 2011 press release. So that's the key info we wanted to talk about from the press release. A couple press releases that they've had out recently. Some of the reasons that we follow U.S. Gold so closely is one, they've been drilling aggressively on their El Gallo discovery. What makes that quite an exciting project is that fairly high grades, near surface discovery that gives them easy access. And that's one of the key reasons that they're working so hard on it. They are focused on silver and gold. The El Gallo is primarily a silver discovery, but they're also finding gold in some of the satellite discoveries near there. So it's both a silver and gold project, but main focus is on silver because they've hit a lot of really good holes with exceptionally good silver in it. One of the other key reasons that we follow the company is because they have a strong management team led by Rod McEwen. He is one of the key people that helped grow Goldcorp into the major company they are today. Now is one of his key focuses on growing U.S. gold aggressively. They've made some comments in the last year or so that they about how big they want to grow the company, and all indications from the drilling is that those bold comments are not pie in the sky, and are quite doable. And so again, those are some of the key reasons that we follow the company. As always, we recommend people do their homework. Great place to do that is on their website at usgold.com. You'll find plenty of information in there about their work and all their various news releases. And I think if you do your homework, you'll understand why we follow this company so closely for the last few years. All right, so that's a wrap on our In the News show today. Before closing, we'd like to stress that this show and our reports are for information purposes only. We aren't making buying or selling recommendations. It's important for you to do your own research and speak with your financial advisors before making any investment decisions. We're always trying to grow our audience, and any efforts you make to help us by letting your friends that follow the markets know about our website, our reports, our shows, would be greatly appreciated. We also really appreciate you taking the time to watch these shows. We know that everybody is very busy these days, and we strive to produce a show. What we do is we go out there, we do tons of homework, and we try to refine that down to find the highest quality companies. And we feel that this is a great way for you to the audience to save time, is by piggybacking on our extensive research. And the next show is going to be another In the News show, tentatively scheduled for Thursday, so a couple days from now. And the best way to keep track of all of our various shows is to be a subscriber. And there's no charge to be a subscriber and be on our email list. If you look above me on the website, you'll see a subscribe section. Just fill out the information. We'll add you to our email list, and then we'll keep you updated on any of the work that we're doing, whether that's public speaking engagements, reports, shows. We try to keep people updated with usually about 1 or 2 emails a week. And again, there's because we do a lot of work, and again, there's no charge to be on that email list. So, hope you join us for our next show. You can find all of our work on our website at allanberryreports.com. We'll see you soon, and have a great day.